like girls. On November 26th of 2025, Stranger Things would finally have its first part of Season 5, which was pretty good. Then Season 5 Volume 2 came around, like, Christmas time, and then the finale came on New Year's Eve. Okay, yeah, I've been needing to have a talk about Stranger Things for the longest time on my channel, and it really does show. One of my earliest videos on this platform was me pretty much recapping the entirety of Season 1 within an animated format. Whoa, so quirky and so cool.
And that big building looks a bit suspicious. Hi, John. It's what I do.
So before I go over my thoughts on Season 5 as a whole, I'm actually gonna go over a very, very short recap of each season building up to this point, so that, you know, any person who just needs a recap will just get that recap handed to them. Now, I don't know, grab your axes and break down your wall. Season 1 starts out with Lucas, Dustin, Mike, and Will Byers as they all play in D&D together. Later that night, when Will is trying to go home, a monster abducts him, later labeled the Demogorgon. He's so cute. I have a figure of him in my room. I have him sat next to my alien. Oh my god! Alien buddy, you doing too good there? You seem to be losing a little bit of weight. Of course, the season wouldn't be complete with the introduction of 11, also known as Jane in the later season, played by Millie Bobby Brown of later Godzilla King of the Monsters fame. I can't really think of anything else she was in. I mean, she was in Elna Holmes, I think. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce the name. Of course, Season 1 ends off with Will being found and brought back home after he coughs up a loogie, also known as a Demogorgon slug, that will be relevant in Season 2, and that's how Season 1 ends. And overall, I think I gave my score of this first season like a 7 out of 10 overall. Yes, it is very slow at times, and obviously the CG is woof. But overall, it has a lot of heart, passion, and soul behind it. I honestly prefer the vibes of this first season compared to the later vibes we see in Season 5 or 3. Season 2 isn't really that great, but it isn't bad either. Season 2 pretty much starts off with this new gang of characters that'll be later established more in one of the worst episodes of the entire franchise. I'm gonna be real with you, fam. Episode 7, The Lost Sisters, nothing to write home about. I'm gonna be so real with you right now. The whole purpose of this season is to introduce more concepts of the Upside Down, the Demogorgon's evolution, the Mind Flayer, and the fact that there are more children just like 11. Blah, blah, blah. Will gets possessed by the Mind Flayer and he needs to get it out of him. Blah, blah, blah. 11 is being held in Hopper's little cabin away from the Batman. Blah, blah, blah. Maxine is introduced. Blah, blah, blah. And also Max's dickhead brother, Billy, which we'll learn a lot more about in Season 3. And speaking of Season 3, the Mall gets introduced, Robin gets introduced, which is one of my favorite characters in the series, besides Dustin and, of course, Steve. The Mind Flayer is back at it again as this meat flare thing, and Billy is possessed, kind of like Will in the second season, and later gets killed off by the Mind Flayer for, I guess, disobeying. And we get our first semi-gay character of this show. Trust me, we'll get to the other one soon. Season 4 shows Henry Creel, aka One, aka Vecna, who has a deep connection with the Mind Flayer himself, kind of like a henchman. We see how 11 is struggling to adapt in her new life in California with bullies about. Hopper's sacrifice in Season 3 gets resolved as we see he's actually alive. We see how the concept of Demogorgons being used as Russian weapons being explored a lot more in this season. We also get to see Dustin's new leader of a D&D club, Eddie Munson, who is really good guy. I don't know why they killed him off. And we see how Vecna plans to bleed the Upside Down into the right side up, which leads us into Season 5, also known as the topic of today's episode. Yay, how wonderful.
Robin.
As in the small, Midwestern frail bird.
Yeah, and I already have a catchphrase. Rockin' Robin!
I don't feel like going over these episodes in super long length. If you want to watch the series, watch it yourself, or maybe go watch the other YouTube video that discusses this series in the full case. I'm just giving you my opinion, dog. Pretty much the gang navigates military quarantine in Hawkins while evading threats. Will's past connection resurfaces as a new Krull operation kicks off the final hunt for Vecna. First episode is very good for the most part and gives a solid introduction to the new season. However, I wish the whole conflict of, oh, the upside down gate is leaking into the right side up. I really wish they could have done a little bit more with that concept rather than just, oh, we'll just cover it up. Yeah, sure, why not? It goes on for miles, but who cares?
Coincidence? I think not!
Holly disappears into the Upside Down, forcing the group to split up and investigate. Tensions rise with old allies returning and new dangers emerging. You see what I did there? This little rhyme. Please don't leave me, please. The episode is pretty damn good, I gotta admit. I like how they kind of connect the vanishing of Will Byers to the new episode. That's pretty cool. And also, too, I like how the dates line up for the vanishing of Will Byers and somewhat this kind of day of reckoning. It's honestly a pretty cool concept. I'm enjoying Volume 1 so far. Please, I am trying to soak up as much joy as I can get out of the first volume, because Volume 2 will make me very, very sad. We learned in this episode that Derek, or Dipshit Derek, or Delightful Derek, is Vecna's next victim, which he is looking for. So the gang needs to team up and basically just kidnap the child, I guess. Even though not much happens in this episode, we do get a little glimpse on something that'll be explored in a future episode, which I'll talk about in a bit. But in this episode, we get introduced to Delightful Derek, which, oh my god, I'm so sorry if I said anything regarding my goat Derek. He is awesome in this. It's funny how literally nobody knew who the hell Derek was before this episode started, yet he quickly became one of the internet's favorite characters for Stranger Things, and honestly, I don't blame them. He is an awesome addition to this entire series. Again, really good episode. The only thing I'd say I'm not too big of a fan of is that it's a little slow at times, but I mean, what are you gonna do, man? It's fine. Overall, another really good episode for season 5.
I have to break your neck. It's just the way it is. I'm just a messenger.
So in this episode, we finally get revealed what Vecna's true plan is. He's trying to rally up about 12 kids so that he can bring the end of the world, pretty much causing the death of all humans as we know it. And also, too, apparently, Will has powers in this new episode, which was insane. And also, too, remember that one girl, 8, that was mentioned back in Season 2? Well, she's back here for her revival, I guess. I might sound sarcastic when I say it, but I do genuinely mean it. This episode was actually peak. However, instead of Will's powers kind of being like Eleven's in a way where she can use telekinesis, Will can tap into Henry's mind and use his powers against him. It's a very neat concept, and I like it quite a bit. Very good job, Netflix.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Nothing much happens in this episode. Will taps into Vecna's mind, I think, using a Demogorgon. Max is alive, and yeah. Also, the Upside Down is a wormhole. Huh?
Shades, bulging out front, sheets spilling cunt.
Bro, why does 11 look like that? I don't mean to offend Millie Bobby Brown at all, because I do love her. It's just, girl. Yeah, so some stuff happens in this episode that I don't really care about. I mean, we do find out that the whole entire Upside Down is a wormhole, which is pretty cool from Dr. Brennan's old notes. And I guess in this episode, Jonathan and Nancy propose, sort of, question mark? I'm not too sure. And yes, I gotta admit, Millie Bobby Brown does surface in this episode. I'll just say it. I mean, what do you call it? Of course, at the beginning of this segment, I did say that it was a little, like, weird, but I don't really mind. It's whatever. She do what she want to do.
Guess what? I'm gay!
I have a lot of words regarding this episode, but don't worry. It's not going to be negative like how the internet's making it out to be. It's actually going to be kind of positive. Don't worry. This is the big public reveal and deep dive episode. Dustin shares everything with the full group, draws the iconic cylinder diagram, a visual wormhole bridge connecting the Hawkins in our world to the Abyss, and names the other side the Abyss after the D&D plane of chaos and evil. He explains how Eleven's contact in 1983 created this unstable bridge. The exotic matter keeps it stable, and destroying it could collapse everything, including the Upside Down and threads from the Abyss. This episode is heavy on exposition, with the diagram helping visualize the twist. But in this episode, one big thing happens, and I guess I might as well address the elephant in the room now. Will coming out. I'm gonna give a lot of context in this scene and why it played out the way it does. And also too, I'll also provide context from my side. I have a gay uncle, so I do know a bit of things about the LGBTQ community. Back in the 80s and 90s, being gay was not as widely accepted as it is nowadays. Now you could say that you're gay and you have a community that can openly support you. But back in the day, people were even scared to just say that they were because of two reasons, physically and mentally. Physically, mainly due to the fact that AIDS and HIV was running rampant like cocaine on New York streets. And mentally, because you don't know how people are gonna respond if you say that you're gay. You don't know if they're gonna support you or if they're gonna literally kick you out of your own household. The same thing happened with my uncle. He wasn't accepted for who he was, but thank God my dad stood up for him because, you know, they're brothers. And I love my uncle. That guy is awesome. I love that guy. But back to Stranger Things. The whole reason why Will confessed his feelings to everybody was because it was holding him back. Vecna, throughout the series, is known to use his powers to feed off of people's fear. Sort of like Pennywise, but no one could top the Big P. So Will confessing his feelings to everybody lifted that weight off of him, allowing him to finally truly be himself and not having to worry about what people think of him. I'm not saying to go woke or anything. I'm just saying that something like this is fine. As long as it fits narratively within the story, it doesn't feel like it was pulled out of the narrator's ass, then it's totally A-okay with me. Sometimes the best way to represent a gay person within any piece of media is to have being gay not be their main personality. That's why I like Robin so much in this show, because one of the biggest scenes in season 3 was her coming out as gay to Steve Harrington. Initially, the Duffer Brothers were just considering Robin being another side character that Steve Harrington could fall in love with and that they could be a couple and blah 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 blah, basically Nancy Jr., until Maya Hawke stepped in and said, how about you just make her gay and make Robin and Steve a platonic relationship. That way, it'll actually add something a little bit more interesting to the show, rather than just, here's another relationship again, because, you know, why not? So yes, overall, I don't mind Will coming out as being gay in this season, and in fact, it was something that I kind of saw coming for a long time now. I think we all did. If you don't like this scene for your own personal reasons, then that's totally fine. That's your opinion. Opinions are valid on the internet. Anyway, for yapping that long, yeah, this episode really isn't anything special, I'm sorry. It just kind of feels like the prelude to the finale, which we'll get into now.
It's over, isn't it?
Well, the finale is better than Game of Thrones, if you want my opinion on that. So, pretty much in the whole finale, it kind of goes like this. The whole gang goes after Vecna as their plan initiates, and, yeah, I think 8 gets killed off, too. She was useless in this season, I'm sorry, she kind of was. So the gang goes into the Abyss, a giant spider monster. I would play a very obvious meme here for giant enemy spider, but, like, that's probably been milked to death, so, like, I'm probably not gonna do that. Yeah, so apparently the giant spider monster thing is supposed to be the Mind Flayer, which is honestly a really badass design. However, it actually falls so quickly, it literally feels like just a pest that they just had to whack it a few times with a newspaper, and that's it. Like, couldn't we have gotten like a few more minutes of Mind Flayer screen time? Like, come on, man. I want more of the giant enemy spider. Come on, give me more spider stuff. Where are the Demogorgons at? Where are the bats? Where are literally every other upside down creature? Where are they at? I was just wondering. Even my dad commented on this. Like, where are the Demogorgons? Where are the Demobats? Like, where do they go? Do they just, like, go into hibernation or something? Did they just go to the local upside down bar just get a drink or something? Oh yeah, also too, what the hell happened to all the other characters? Like, where's Vicky? Where's, like, all the other military stuff? Where are the Russians? Where's Susie at? Where are some of the characters? Some of the characters are just not here. They just kind of vanished off of the face of the earth. Where are they? Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Anyway, they kill Vecna. They go to detonate the bomb. They escape the upside down. Military's there. I guess 11 sacrifices herself, quote unquote. And yeah, that's wraps. And then it cuts to like 18 months later where they're all graduating with each other. And it seems like Mike is still kind of grieving over the loss of 11 because, yeah, obviously that's his fucking girlfriend. But then later on we see that Joyce and Hopper are getting married, which is pretty cool. They go down to basement. The old gang, Dustin, Lucas, Mike, Will, and Max too. I guess she's there as well. They're all playing D&D together one last time, which is honestly a really good callback to season 1. I like that. I like that, Netflix. Good job, Netflix. And then Mike goes on to explain about their future lives and where he thinks 11 is now, and a nice, safe, quiet place, probably in Greenland, where there are like 3 waterfalls there. That's beautiful, man. This shit means so to me, man. We close the door on the basement and finally reach the end of Stranger Things. Man, oh man, this show was a ride. I'll let you know that right now. I'll let you know this final season was a ride, alright. Definitely wasn't a perfect season, but I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever watched. I've watched a lot worse in my time. However, I feel like the first 4 episodes were just kind of clickbait, if I'm being honest. Like, they're really good, and then later on in Volume 2 and the finale, it just kind of fell off a bit. This saddens me to no end. So you might be thinking, but Nick, where do you think 11 is now? Floating through the abyss of space? Or is she alive secretly? I'm gonna be real with you. The explanation that Mike gave was very, very plausible. And there's some, like, hints here and there that, like, yeah, she survived. Like, when they were getting out of the truck, like, dude, I literally saw her. She was right there. And also, too, how does she use her powers when those little speaker things were in the way? Might as well just think that, you know? And now, the final theory remains. Conformity gate theory. Do I think it's real? No. I don't think it's real. I think Stranger Things fans are just kind of coping at this point. Well, I've truly and fully accepted that it's over. The whole series is over. It's done. If they're ever going to be doing a spin-off, it will probably follow the little group of kids that are with Mr. What's-It for a while, or it'll probably take the form of something else. I would like to see a series that would be kind of like a prequel, kind of like Stranger Things: The First Shadow. That'd be really cool. And of course, they're doing the Tales from 85 TV show coming out this year. So I'm very excited to see how that goes as well. But now it stands, which show is better from 2025? It, Welcome to Derry, or Stranger Things Season 5? It was It, Welcome to Derry. I enjoyed that show a lot more. I do plan on making a video based off of It, Welcome to Derry, and the It series as a whole, so I guess stay tuned for that. I don't know when I'll start production on it, but I do know it's a little idea that's been rattling around in my brain for quite a while. But now I want to hear what you guys have to say about Stranger Things Season 5. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you guys for joining me on this first video of 2026, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bazinga, as always.
Happy birthday.